Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Analysis: What will become of Ghosn as an alliance of Nissan and Renault? The alliance between Renault SA and Nissan Motor Company, forged by Carlos Ghosn, is being revised as the automakers go their separate ways, a result set in motion by his arrest for financial misconduct 4 years ago. After Ghosn is serving 2 lengthy prison sentences before being released on bail, he slipped out of the country in late 2019 and found refuge in Lebanon, where he has citizenship. He has maintained his innocence and said the deck was stacked against him. While the car makers won, the Ghosn saga remains unfinished. Ghosn, now 68, has been known in the country since 1999, when French automaker bailed out Nissan with a cash injection. He reduced purchasing costs, closed factories, cut 21,000 jobs, and invested the savings in 3 years in 22 car and truck models. It wasn't long before he was feted in manga comics, asked for autographs at factory tours, and generally showered with national admiration for saving a car company that had once been declared dead. But he was subpoenaed about his salary in Japan, where executive pay is a sensitive issue. Ghosn was charged in Tokyo with underreporting about $80 million in compensation and earnings in the 10 years before his arrest. At the time of his arrest, Renault's partnership with Nissan was strained, and then Nissan CEO Hiroto Saikawa was trying to balance what he and other employees at the Japanese company saw as a relationship increasingly in favor of the French automaker, and his company, the most powerful shareholder, the French state, was overturned. Nissan's new management has been pushing for a realignment of the relationship, both announcing a plan for Renault to reduce its stake in the Japanese automaker from 43% to 15%, and for Nissan to regain voting rights for its 15% stake in the French automaker. "I was not fleeing justice, I was fleeing injustice and political persecution," he said shortly after arriving in Lebanon. He called the Japanese judicial system rigged and said he had been denied basic human rights, including the presumption of innocence. In court in early 2019, Ghosn said the deferred compensation agreements were non-binding draft proposals and therefore did not need to be disclosed. His French lawyer said Ghosn did not receive the deferred payment, and there was no certainty he would ever receive it. At a press conference in Lebanon in January 2020, Ghosn said he would stand trial in any country where I think I can get a fair trial, but didn't he think that would be the case in Japan? After the French arrest warrants were issued, he called his situation a tragedy. "They have a masquerade of justice in Japan, and what makes me very sad is that France was in a way an accomplice to that," he said. His second release had similar conditions, which the court said were intended to prevent the destruction of evidence. For the most part, yes. Suspects in Japan routinely endure lengthy pre-trial detention and repeated grilling by prosecutors without a lawyer present. Periodically rearresting a suspect on suspected new charges allows prosecutors to hold a suspect in custody while they try to build a case or obtain a confession. Tight budgets and a culture of saving face mean that prosecutors typically only pursue cases they are certain to win. In 2015, only 7.8% of the cases conducted by the public prosecutor's office led to a court case. This helps explain why more than 99% of cases that go to court end in a conviction. In England and Wales, for comparison, the conviction rate is 87%. 2 Americans who helped Ghosn escape were taken to Japan, served time for their roles, and were released in late 2022. Nissan was also sued for the saga and was also fined 200 million yen by a court in Tokyo. The company said it strengthened its corporate governance and compliance and filed amended financial statements.